Good evening, good evening, good evening. How's everyone doing today? I want to welcome you to Yes You and Friends. I'd like to welcome my friends Jonna and Rhonda here today so we can talk. Wave everybody. Say hi to the people. Yeah. All right. So things may look a little different today. As you can see, our fearless leader is not here with us and moderator not here with us today. She's out doing the work of the Lord. But as her friends, we're going to hold it down for her and we're going to keep the conversation going. So I hope tonight you enjoyed tonight's conversation. I hope that you engage with us and we just have a good time and just talk about whatever there is to talk about. So in tradition, we're going to start in with a check-in from our friends and just see how things are going. So Rhonda and Jonna, how are things going in your neighborhood? How are things going in Fort Sam and Blue Springs, Missouri?
Fort Smith is just hanging in there, just like everywhere else. And I know we're going to get into the meat of the matter a little bit later on, but I do want to continue to talk about the COVID, mainly because it was told, like our leader said, it was reported to me that once the election is over with, that COVID would disappear, would automatically go away. However, in Fort Smith and surrounding areas, we have experienced the highest number. So
Wow.
the highest number of cases. So it has not mysteriously gone away. It's still going on. Schools are still beginning to go back to virtual learning. They're having to
Mhm.
shut down and rethink things, review things, and so it hasn't gone away. Even some of our businesses, like I said last week, Walgreens has done it. Now some other businesses are closing down to clean it up and get everything together. So it hasn't gone away. It's still here. And we'll talk about the
Wow.
election later on in the broadcast.
Yeah, we know that's the big topic of the week.
Yeah.
And Jonna, how are things going for you?
Good. Everything's going good. On the school front, I think this week we have 35 new cases. So that number just
Wow.
keeps getting bigger and bigger every week. And we have 325 kids in quarantine. And so, yeah, 325. There was another issue where they cleared out a whole hall of classes. Just everybody got to get out. It's not funny.
Wow.
It is not fun. It is a little, but not really. And so that's that. It's not fun.
Yeah.
It's not fun. It is a little, but not really.
Well,
Wow.
I can say here in Texas, I mean, things are no different. And of course, we'll hit on the election later, especially when it comes to Texas. But cases are still on the rise. I was just reading where the TABC, which is the Texas Alcohol and Beverage Control, I think that's what it's called. But TABC, they regulate like alcoholic beverages here in Texas. They're actually starting to take away licenses from like bars and restaurants because, especially over the Halloween weekend, people were just avoiding social distancing. Um, Bars were, having people more than their capacity come in. They had, it was just like the good old days, and actually, like patrons of the establishments reported these bars and restaurants. So we're having a point where our cases are still on the rise, and people are just totally avoiding, the rules and regulations that's been put out there, and bars and restaurants are losing their liquor license, and that's just the price they pay for not being aware and just thinking about the dollar versus thinking about people's lives. And I was totally against like bars opening up anyway, because my thing is, after a few drinks, we all family. There's no social distancing. There's no, you sit on that side of the table, I sit on, we get together, we hug, we have a good time, we buy our drinks, and this totally is just not the time for it. But but yeah, but it seems like everybody's had a interesting week, and we're dealing with what's all going on in the world. I do want to welcome everybody coming in on the chat. We're so excited to have you here. We hope that you engage with us in the conversation because we're honestly really just going to talk about what we're all experiencing and what we've all seen this week. I will tell you This week I did watch an episode of Yes You OQ, and we will not be talking about twisted scrotums. Okay, so y'all can save that for during the week. But tonight we will not be talking about twisted scrotums.
Are
That's
you sure?
slightly
You don't want to talk about twisted scrotums,
no,
Tyrone?
that slightly made me uncomfortable, and I was working, and I had to get out of my seat and walk around the room. So we will not be talking about twisted scrotums. But again, I do thank everybody who's joined us today in the chat. We truly appreciate you, and we hope that you all will engage with us in the conversation. So let's take this deep breath. It's been a crazy week that we were gearing up for. We were gearing up for. We knew the election was coming. We knew it was going to be a shit show. We knew it was going to be crazy, and it was everything that we thought it would be. So we've had this election. We at this point we have a winner. So first, I like to thank my Black community, my minorities, because at the end of the day, once again we've saved this country, and I need all of you to take a hat off to yourself because we did that thing. Because for a moment there, it was a little sketchy, but they kept coming back and they kept saying, we're waiting on these urban communities, we're waiting on the suburbs, we're waiting on this, that, and the other. Atlanta came on through, Philadelphia came on through. Once again, the African Americans and the minorities, we appreciate you all, came through and did their thing. So I will ask y'all, like, what was your experience like this week dealing with everything that you witnessed and like this whole week in a whole? How was that for you?
It was absolutely exhausting. Oh my God. By Thursday, I was, you know what? Now, this enough already. It was exhausting.
Like,
I was
seriously.
waking up in the middle of the night, turning on singing in, like, what happened? Nothing. It was just, oh man, it was really something this week. I was like, come on now. But we made it. And I got a dance and a song in my spirit ever since.
Amen. Do you got one you want to share with us?
I'll share it if you want me to.
Go ahead.
Okay, y'all ready? Here it goes.
You ready?
I don't know that song. I know you might know it, Rhonda. Do you? I don't know. I couldn't think of the words. But I've just been doing that ever since yesterday, and I can't stop. So pray for me, if you will.
And you're right, BDT mom. This is just the beginning. We do need to hold our government officials accountable. Like we got them in. Now we have to do the work. So Rhonda, how was your week? What was this whole experience, especially being, someone in the, the political field and all that?
Hey, we win.
How?
We win. Hey, I won. Even though I was running unopposed, I still won.
And that's all that matters. Look at that.
Yes.
Come on, 2020.
Hey, but it was interesting. I didn't do like John. I didn't wake up and I didn't do all that because I guess I'm more involved and I knew what was going to happen and some things that was going to happen. That the strategy that they used was awesome. They encouraged more and more and more and more and more people to vote by mail. Get those ballots in.
Do you think it was a thought out strategy?
Yes, that was. Yes. Yes. Because
so
get them votes in there. Get them in there. And just like did you watch I can't think of his name, the one that was running against Biden. I can't think of his name, the other old man. They all old, but the other old man.
Bernie?
Bernie Sanders. Bernie had said prior to the election, he said, this is what's going to happen. Trump is going to come out and say, I won. He said, but as they continue to count the ballots and count the absentee ballots and all that, it's going to come out and Biden's going to win. Because there are millions and millions of ballots that have to be counted You can't just throw them away like Trump saying, stop counting, stop counting. Oh, as long as you're winning, stop counting. But you losing, stop counting. But every vote should count, so they can't just
Mm-hmm.
stop. But Biden's strategy team had everybody come on. If you can't make it to the poll, you can't make it to the poll. Get that absentee ballot, get it in, get it in, get it in. Trump, on the other hand, told everybody get to the poll, get to the poll. You ain't got to wear a mask. Get to the poll, get to the poll. Okay, that's why at the beginning he was winning,
Yeah.
Right.
because he told his people to get to the poll.
He just knew he had it
He just had it.
in the bag.
Yeah. So hey, let them keep counting, keep counting.
It
Right.
was stressful, but that was fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh man, that whole don't mail it, it's fraud, and he got all his votes immediately, and the mail-in ballots came
Like
through.
crazy.
Did they come through?
They like
Yeah.
crazy.
Crazy. Yeah.
And it was a good thing. I hope if people took nothing away from this whole election process, is the fact that every vote matters.
Absolutely.
Like every vote mattered,
Absolutely.
because there was like I said, there was a moment, depending on the state, some counted the election day first, some counted mail in first, this, that, and the other.
Mhm.
Every state does their own thing, which I slightly have an issue with that as well. But every state does their own thing. But at the end of the day, every vote gets counted, and with those mail in ballots coming in, there was a shift in the atmosphere. I feel like I think
It sure
I'm
was.
like Tasha Cobbs or something. There was like a shift.
A who?
A shift.
Oh, okay. Like, whoa, wow word.
A shift
Okay,
in the
yeah.
atmosphere.
Yes, it was.
And things
Yes, it
came on
was.
around.
Yes, it was.
So
Yes, it
I
was.
mean, it was like I said, it was a good night. Well, it's a good process. But the crazy thing for me now, I haven't voted as long as some people. Nothing against age, just my experience.
Mhm.
Um, but this was the first time I've ever seen an election like go on so long. Like I remember both of Obama's elections. Like I knew, and even Trump's. Like we knew who the winner was. Like before I went to bed. Like is this
Mhm.
typical? Where elect? I mean, the only time I can think of like a drawn on election was
Gore. Gore and
Gore
Right.
Bush.
and Bush,
Mhm.
Mhm.
where like Texas was called, but it wasn't called, and then there was this whole recounting this, that, and the other. But is this like a typical thing? Because it stressed me out going day after day. And it's like, what's taking
Yeah,
them so long?
it was
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah, it's not normally like that. It's not. And you remember the
Mhm.
second term for President Obama, they called his around, what was it, 8, 9,
Mhm.
9
Yeah,
Yeah, it
that
was really
morning.
quick.
It was a done
Mhm.
deal. But you got to know who you're working with.
you're right, and clearly we see who we're working with, because this man, this has to be this Trump, and nothing against anybody who supported Trump. This whole election process, like just him and as a whole, has been crazy. I mean, before anything was projected, Trump was filing lawsuits, and especially like I think who's his lawyer, Giuliani,
Giuliani.
who's talking about possibly having like 10 possible lawsuits against like different states, especially like Wisconsin, Philadelphia, and I think Georgia. One
All
of them,
of them.
all of them, basically. Possibly like
Mhm.
10 lawsuits. Um, and this happened before anything was like called. Like
Mhm.
this man went into this process defeated. I mean, to me, Trump is like a 3-year-old middle child looking for their pacifier and just want to
Mhm.
fight and argue. Because I remember on election night, of course, I stayed up as long as I could, and then I went to sleep with the TV on, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and what I saw was Trump giving a speech saying that he had won. So I went on the bed like, oh, we lost. Come to find out, he didn't even have the votes. Like,
Yeah.
like who does that?
Trump.
He does. He does. And it's so crazy because, and he keeps saying it. And it's like, but you didn't win. You didn't win. You didn't win.
But he thought
You
he
didn't win the
was.
popular vote and you didn't win you didn't
Matter.
win.
But he thought he was, because you know what? I smell the abundance of rain. I smell the abundance of rain. I smell the abundance of rain. Dippity, dippity, dee. Sicky, wicky, picky, picky, dicky, picky, picky. I smell the abundance of rain. So he just knew he won.
And he
You
didn't.
know, calling from
And,
Africa, angels from Africa, angels from Africa. You
And they
just
showed up.
called, right, you call Africa, people from Africa, you said they were the brown word, but you want the angels from Africa to come and help you win. It doesn't
right,
work that way.
Mm-mm.
right. And you're right. That's right,
Mm-mm.
SK. Liars gonna lie. And Trump has clearly proven himself to be a liar. But the sad part about it is he has people that will support his lies.
Several.
They will literally support the foolishness that he puts out into the world, like it's right. It's crazy to me. This man has done everything you could think of, like in the book, and he has
Mhm.
a base of people that support him. It was crazy to see. I've seen pictures of people praying at the ballot counting,
I saw that.
like hand on the window, like fix it, Jesus, like like in tears.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
like
I
sad.
saw
like
that.
people are tore up. And the crazy thing, this election has shown me, and of course I'm not one to be like, we all got to be equal and we all got to be together. This has shown me that this country is divided, like
Uh-huh.
severely,
Wow, it is. Yeah, and
like
not
severely.
only divided between Republicans and Democrats, it is divided spiritually.
Yes.
Because look at all the evangelical Christian people that go for Trump and then the other ones that do. It is so divided. Look at Paula White. Look at the one that came out today with Kenneth Copeland. You know, the one that he came out and he said, Biden think he's won. Ha, 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 ha,
Mhm.
ha. So they're truly believing that everything is going to be overturned. But then you have the other prophets are saying it's a done deal. This is so confusing. It's
Mhm.
Hmm.
very confusing because if 2016 election was the will of God, then what about the election of 2020? I mean, how do you determine that?
Right.
Because we have well-known prophets of God speaking on both sides.
Mhm.
So we are totally divided, not just in Republican and Democrat, down the line spiritually.
Yeah. I mean, to see that has been like, it's sad, the way
Mhm.
that the division that, and it was already there. We may not have, noticed it, but I feel the base and the campaign and just the energy that Trump's camp has and him has have put into the world. To be honest, he's given a voice to people to really show who they are.
Mhm.
So those people who may have wanted to call you the N word, they feel in this under him they can do that. And it's crazy that this one man and all around him has really shown what this world actually is. And it's sad. Let's see, Mel. My question is what Biden says what he is going to do was going on the 8th year when he was VP and the economy was horrible. I mean, Biden has a lot to answer for too. I mean, he was VP for 8 years. Um, he has a lot to answer for. I think a
Mhm.
lot of people were really big on. I mean, because I'll say myself, I totally don't know what Biden's plan is. I've heard some things. I've done a little reading. But I mean, I wouldn't be able to quote word for word what everything he stands for. And he was in office for 8 years, and I mean, he's gotten the black vote and the minority vote because of course we're the ones who pushed him over the line. But he has a lot of answering to do. He really it's like he has to gain our trust again
Well,
because
now,
the black vote is not free.
you have to remember that President Obama and Biden came in on a bad economy as well. They inherited a lot of mess. So they came in and did a good job. But you have to remember, President Obama was fought tooth and nail.
Mhm.
Everything he tried to accomplish, he was fought tooth and nail. So they did the best that they could. They're not perfect. So now you're talking about something being horrible. They inherit horrible, but then the horrible was worse with this last administration. So we can't talk about them being horrible. Let's talk about what we just coming out of was horrible.
But Biden, he's really, I mean, he's getting a real mess. And, you know, the economy is in the toilet, and then this pandemic and just the divide itself. And he spoke some in his speech, about how divided we are, and it was time to heal. How do we do that? How do you do that? I mean, it's even though he won, I think by 5 million in the popular vote, that's still, I mean, he had 75 million, Trump had 70. That's a lot of people who don't want to see him in office. And not all of them, but you know how some of them can be. So that's going to be he's inheriting a true mess. I mean, we're at our highest numbers that we've had in the pandemic still this week. How ironic. But this week, we've had the highest numbers we've had. And what is he going to do? I mean, where does he even start?
Yeah, well, he's already stated that he's putting together a coalition, a group of people to work on the COVID. At least
I heard some of that today.
At least he know that it's happening. Trump won't act like it's just gonna come and fade away or it didn't exist, but at least he's thinking about it. He's putting together a team that's gonna work on it and see what's best for everybody. At least we have somebody that's willing to work.
And you're right, and I agree with SK with the comment that the Obama-Biden administration didn't have the support of the Senate to implement policy, and that's always a struggle.
Yeah.
You campaign on a promise, but I mean the president is just the president to a certain extent. But I wonder, because I was thinking, with the presidents that's been set at this point from our administration that we have now, Trump went in with a whole bunch of executive orders and he was doing this and this. And will that now become the standard? Do you feel like presidents going forward would use this whole executive order just like Trump did?
To undo what the previous administration done?
Yes.
That's true. That's true. We never know. Let's just pray that he's going to go in and do whatever he can do for the betterment of the country. See, like they were saying, and everybody has been saying, Trump went in to try to undo everything President Obama established. That was his goal. So we're just going to say that, hoping that Biden is not going in to try to undo everything that Trump did, even though he did anything. But whatever he goes in to do, that is for the betterment of the country. We have got to heal. We can't continue that way.
And I liked when when he spoke on, I believe yesterday, where he spoke to the people, whether you voted for him or not, whether you supported, Democrat, Republican, or whatever it was. He spoke to the people, and I felt that's a start in unifying us and bringing us together. Because right now we're in a bad place on both ends.
Right. Now, in his speech, he said to African American people, he said, "You guys have always had my back," or something. That's not verbatim. And now didn't he say that yesterday, or am I making that up? He said, "You always had my back, and now I'll have yours." What did y'all think about that? I thought,
Well, because he knows what Black people has gone through. He's watched. Everybody that's paying attention know what Black people have gone through, and so let's see what he's going to do. Look, don't just talk about it. Be about it.
He knows what Black people have gone through. I think he went the best route with bringing on his vice president being an African American, especially an African American woman, because you can know what we've gone through, but you haven't experienced it. And I think, and it was important for him to, in his fight for our vote, was to have someone, a part of his team, that would be able to somewhat speak for us. Even her experience may be a little different, but it's one thing to say, I know what you've gone through, and it's another thing to say, I've experienced it myself. So I feel with him bringing her on, and especially an African American period, that helps him as far as getting the Black vote, and Black people and African Americans or minorities period somewhat feeling that there's someone in the office to speak for them.
Right. And the good thing is he acknowledged it.
Yeah,
Hmm.
he did.
We have definitely not had that. He acknowledged it. So
So Monica Smith says he will literally become a one-term president if he does not acknowledge what we all have been through right now. And that's actually something I wanted to touch on. So do we feel he would be? Well, I'm sure he won't be a two-term president because by the time this term is over, he'll be in his 80s. And nothing against age, but I'm sure no one in their 80s wants to run the country. um, do we feel at that point, or after this term, once he's in office, that Kamala would be prepared to run for president? Or do we feel the country is not ready for a female president yet?
Well, they didn't vote for Hillary. Her
They
own people didn't vote for her,
they didn't.
which I will never understand that. But, they didn't. So I don't know. I don't know about that. We have to see. I mean, I'm all for Kamala, but let's see if she puts her money where her mouth is.
You're
well,
right.
a lot of people are upset, and a lot of people are not necessarily upset about Biden. A lot of people are upset because of Kamala, because of
Mm-hmm.
the
Why?
black lady, because of the black lady, woman of color. So a lot of people are more upset about that than Biden.
I agree.
Mhm. So do you
So
feel she would have like a struggle getting
oh,
the nomination?
she's gonna have a struggle, even though she has broken the glass ceiling.
Hmm.
But she will continue to have a struggle. But it's not that if she
Mm-hmm.
can't do it, all she'll do is she show herself, show who she is. Oh, she can do it. Now is
Yeah.
the time. It's
Now
our
now
season.
you're right. Now is the time. Um, but I will say this election has taught. I feel, and I would hope this election has taught all of us something. Um, One, that all of our votes count. It is important to get out there and vote. And we've seen like the numbers of people who voted, record breaking, amazing. And it happened with it, and great things happen. Just like with SK, we must work locally to improve our political power, groom new leaders, and plan for future election cycles. I will say I've learned that our local leaders are tremendously important. Like I
Absolutely.
said, for me, growing up, the biggest election is the presidential election. Not thinking about, I need to know what my local leaders what they stand for. Not just going in the poll and just checking somebody off. These are the people that impact me personally day by day. So it's really important, especially for young people, that they really get involved in this whole election process and know who you're voting for, know what your ask is, because at the end of the day, these people are the ones who make the laws that guide your life. Um, so I just hope people really just learn from this experience because this was new for me, and I'm sure it was new for a lot of people. I just hope people took advantage of this, even though it was crazy and it dragged on for days. And we know it's going to be a crazy show for the weeks coming up because there's going to be lawsuits and recounts and this, that, and the other. I just hope people really learn something from this experience to guide them um, through the rest of their journey and their life. And I also
And,
hope from a
uh-huh.
conversation we had before that more people step up to become
Okay.
politicians.
Okay.
I
That's
really
one
do.
thing that really stuck out for me with Stacey Abrams. I mean,
Mhm.
she took it to the street, and look what happened.
To the
She
streets.
flipped that thing around. Did she flip it? I'm
She
like,
Yeah.
flipped it.
come on,
She
Stacey.
she
Yeah.
said y'all did me wrong, but I'm gonna change it
We're
for
not doing
everybody
that
else.
again.
We're
Right.
not doing
Mm-hmm.
that again.
But see, what else you need to learn from her is they did her wrong, but she did not quit. A lot of people, when they
Yeah.
do you wrong, you want to quit and sit down. She did not quit. She kept
Mm-hmm.
on working. She worked those streets. She turned that state around. She deserves something.
She
She
Yeah.
does.
deserves a
She
position
need a
there.
she needs a position or something
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the
But
White House.
she didn't
Yeah.
quit. She didn't quit because she didn't win. Hey,
I
when she start
saw a
working, no, she works.
right. I saw an interview she did on I think it was, and it was a group of Black women, and they were talking about struggles, and she gave her story about how she's had to fight just to exist in this field,
Mm-hmm.
and with her skin, not because she's Black, just because she's a darker Black skinned woman, her hair, her weight. I mean, she's had to go through all of that, and she
Mm-hmm.
never stopped. And look what happened. I mean, she
Wow.
turned that thing all the way around. She's a
Girl.
hero for me.
Yeah, you have to you have
Stacy,
to yeah.
Yeah.
You have to know
I
your
have to
purpose.
bow.
You know
Mm-hmm.
your purpose, you keep pushing. You have to push past the
Mm-hmm.
pain.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can't give up. And she did that.
She
Yeah.
did.
She
And
did
she
Shout
that.
out
has
to Stacy.
she has the organization fairfight.org. I would tell everybody go check out that website, read into that organization, because voter suppression happens in all of our states, and that organization is helping to change the voting laws and things in Georgia and states all over the United States. So I would advise everybody to just check out the website, see what it's all about, become a member if you want to. um, but we saw in this election that having people on the ground, having
Mm-hmm.
people speak up about voter suppression, having people out there saying, this is not right, and everybody should be able to vote, um, changed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Changed a lot. So
I think the last I heard in Georgia, it was only by 7,000 votes. I mean, come on, that is tiny, tiny, tiny. But those 7,000 counted.
Mm-hmm.
Every one of them counted.
they counted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it does shine a light on the fact that we need to get to the polls on election day. Everybody had their stickers and their pictures. It was, a big celebration, but there were so many people saying, you Black folks just do whatever massa tell y'all to do, and your vote doesn't matter. They're gonna do, and I'm like, oh, it was sickening. Did y'all see any of that on your timeline? It
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
was sickening.
Wow.
Sickening. I could not. And these are from grown people. I'm talking in their 40s and up. I'm like, come on, y'all.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Wow.
It's yeah. And the sad part about it, majority came from the dominant race on the other side, out there trying to intimidate people.
Mm.
Um, like there was a video in Fort Worth here in Texas, in a neighborhood with majority African Americans out there voting. Trump supporters came through, escorted by the police, like the sheriff, came through this neighborhood just trying to intimidate people, and then people won't have it. Now y'all want to call us, we can be everything under the sun, and we get ignorant and out of control. You came to our neighborhood.
Right.
We're out here doing our right to vote,
Right.
and you decided to go out of your way to come to our neighborhood to tell us we're wrong for voting for who we want to vote for. So you just might get roughed up. If you
Bullies.
don't if you don't want to get roughed up, stay at home.
Yeah, bullies. But that's what he's all about. He made those people feel comfortable doing
Yeah, he
that.
did.
The
He
entire
did.
4 years, he made them comfortable going out and invading other people's territory.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bully.
Like they feel they have a right to,
Right.
but then they're silent. You ain't heard a whole lot of them.
I haven't. I have
Cricket.
not.
I haven't seen a Trump sign or flag in my neighborhood since Tuesday.
Cause
They real
but they praying. They behind the
they
picket
open
Um,
fence.
doors for you.
They praying.
They
Cause
praying big time
it's
on
gonna
their
turn
knees.
around. It's gonna turn around is what they're saying. Hold
They
on.
praying
Be
on their
patient.
knees.
Everybody I'm reading on my timeline is be patient. He think he's won. Ha 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 ha. It's gonna turn around. So they endorse praying. And
I
they
mean, they're
truly
praying
believe
hard.
it's gonna turn around.
Because
my word.
he's feeding that to them.
Yeah.
He's feeding that once these lawsuits and this recount and this that and the other, he gonna turn this thing around. But I don't see it happening. And if it does happen, then we have some serious fraud. It was
Mhm.
crazy. like even before we got the projection yesterday, I saw on Facebook and some friends had told me about, because these emails they were getting from the Trump base. So I wanted to go to the Trump website to see if I could, become a member. On his website before, I think it probably was on there even before the election, even like before Tuesday, where he was already saying, and it's like, soon as you go to the website, the first thing you see is him saying that the Democrats are still in the election. He needs his fierce and devoted followers to fight. And you got to donate. You can't do anything on the site unless you donate. And most donations are monthly until like December 14th. But I don't think he understands that feeds to a base of people who think that he wants them to actually fight and defend him. He may not mean that, but the base that he's summed up and the people that follow him and think that he is everything after God, take those words as if Trump really wants me to go out here and defend him.
I think he understands, and I think he does mean it, to be honest. I really do. I think he does. I mean, some of the things he said over the years, he's just as crazy as they are. That's why they click. But I think he does mean it. I really do. The man is nuts.
To be honest, I think he does too.
He's crazy. I mean, he's not, seriously. Somebody said we need to have more mental health requirements before anybody can just run for president.
Right.
We need to get rid of the electoral college, and then we need to have a psych eval before you get on the ticket.
Well, they knew he was crazy when he ran. They knew he was crazy.
They did, and he gave them everything they wanted him and some. I don't think they thought he was as foolish as he got out there.
Oh, he's loony. He's gone. He's gone.
I mean, Trump is out there tweeting in all caps. Yeah. He is. I can just imagine what's going on in that house right now.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I've been praying for Melania and all the aides and everybody, because
Melania, she's in Russia.
Did y'all see the video with the moving truck outside the White House?
Yes. 2 men at a what is it? 2 men at a truck.
Right. She said, "I told you I would stay with you until you left office, and now I'm out because it's not looking good for you." That's right. He is going to need to be bailed out of jail.
Yeah.
It's going to be crazy,
but
and it's going to be crazy for a minute.
What I'm seeing, and I don't know if you all are seeing this yet, because I'm on a lot of different of the politicians' pages, and they're stating all we want is for all votes to be counted, is what they're saying. It's like they're not just really coming out and saying, it's fake and da 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 da. They just want all votes to be counted.
Yeah. And
so the people are getting mad at the Republican senators and stuff who's saying this on their page, saying you need to fight for our president. You need to have his back. So they're getting mad at them because they're not coming out and just saying everything's a fraud. All they're coming out and saying, we believe that every vote should be counted. So I think slowly they're trying to backpedal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and separate themselves from him.
And separate themselves as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Because when he was in office and he had power over them.
Mm-hmm. They were scared of him. He was a bullet. He intimidated them. Yes. But, yeah.
And they're probably just as happy to see him go as we are if they would tell the truth.
Right. Oh, wait till he's gone, or they're gonna come out the woodwork.
Oh, it's gonna be so many books.
Oh yeah. This whole presidency is gonna be studied in universities. Like, it's gonna be a course on the Trump presidency. Because this has been a circus. like this has been a circus.
But you know what, Tyrone? I think the final act begins in the morning when everything's up and running for business. The final act. I don't know what's gonna happen between now and inauguration. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Because he was playing golf when they announced it Saturday.
Right.
But he was so devastated. You could see in the pictures that he couldn't contain himself.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So all the law offices open up in the morning.
Right.
Oh,
And it'll
it's
be
gonna be crazy.
lawsuits flying all over the place.
It is
What a
Wow.
going to be
waste.
It is.
what
It's
a waste.
sad. It's sad.
What a waste.
Mhm.
But
Because
I was
even on Twitch, I can't remember. Rashida probably could pop in. I can't remember which one of the DJs. I think he's in London. He kept asking, "Okay, so what's going on in the U.S. and does it take this long?" I mean, other countries that keep asking, "Well, why are y'all doing this? What's going on?" So
Mhm.
they're laughing at us.
Mhm.
and they've been
Oh,
doing
they've
that for a
been
minute.
laughing. Yeah, it's they've been cracking up for the last 4 years. Hmm.
It's crazy. I was looking at some polls today, and something that kind of threw me off, and I want to get your take on it. So between 2016 and 2020, there's been a shift in vote. So like we talked about a couple of weeks ago, the African American male not feeling that he's been represented, this, that, and the other. But I was looking at a poll where it talked about how in 2016, 13% of African American men supported Trump, and then in 2020, 18%. So there's trends of whether it's white women, black males, black women, Latino men, Latino women, and other. There's this shift in more support for Trump. What do you think has factored into that? Where we're starting to see, and mainly these are people that he's targeted, whether it's African Americans, Latinos, others. I mean, he's talked about sending the dreamers back home and separating parents. One would think that would impact the Latino vote. African Americans, we really haven't progressed that much. Um, and then others incorporate everybody else, or Asians and Indians and all those type of people. The people that I feel during this administration have suffered the most. We're seeing more of a shift to support him. What do y'all think has factored into that?
The only thing I can think of is money, because like y'all's buddy Lil Wayne.
Oh God.
I know. I'm just like, where he at? Where he at? Where he at now? Where he at? But you know what? People, because the richer got richer, the poor got poorer. So people that had money saw a difference. So they
Hmm.
want him to, because they don't want to just get rid of the wealth. They don't think they should pay their fair share, which is everybody saying that everybody should pay their fair share. So they got more money. And so therefore Trump, because he's steady bringing the money in for them. That's the only thing I can think of, because he hasn't done anything else. He hasn't brought in helped the middle class. He definitely hasn't helped the lower class. He keeps saying he's done more for the African Americans than anybody ever. I am still waiting on somebody to show me where. Where did he do more for us than he did for anybody else? So the only thing
Right.
I say is money.
Yeah, that's all I can think. And I was looking at a poll on CNN. The only demographic of supporters that's actually dropped for him is white men. White
Mhm.
women support change went for him. Like I said, African American men, African American women, our Latino community, and then others. They've all shown some type of increase for Trump. It's only white men, per that poll I saw, where the support from him has actually dropped. And for me, I think that support for him, again, he speaks to a base, and he's speaking to people who, for most of their lives, especially when you look at African American men, women, Latinos, and others, have been the forgotten. And for years, we've had politicians in place who've told us over and over again, they're going to do this, they're going to do that, this, that, and the other. And a lot of people don't think of like the big picture of it, where yes, this person went into office and they told me they were going to do these things, but they're not the sole decision maker of these things that they promised me. They have to get through the House, they have to get through the Senate, this, that, and the other. I feel that people, especially minorities, which a big part of that group, saw Trump as someone who's different than what they're used to.
Oh, he's
So
different, all right.
even though to us he's crazy and he says these crazy things, and um he's doing things illegal, this, that, and the other, to some people, he's giving them a change. that they felt he had their back, and a lot of them overlooked the ungodly things that
They
he would do.
definitely, yeah, they definitely did that. They will always come out and say he's not perfect. He does all that, but we have to look past that because he's doing the best he can. He's done the best than any president we've ever had. Really?
Mm.
So, yeah, Pope 45.
Right, right. It's been crazy, and like I say, it's crazy to see this shift in people. One would think, like, you've attacked me, you've attacked my people, you've attacked my culture, all that. But there's still people out there that's like, but this man he's my leader. And some people have taken it to the extreme. Like I said, they praying, like they on their knees before work, toe up praying.
Mm-hmm.
You would think they was about to touch the garment of Jesus. Like they out there toe up. But he's he's talking to a base. He's talking to a base. And
Wow.
it's sad. And that's the crazy part. So like I said, like BDT mom, Biden now needs to show positive energy to the people. Biden he's facing a task on top of going into office and having to, whether he turn around some of the things Trump has already put into place, or try tweak some things and deal with the whole Congress House separation and get things done. He also has a huge task of unifying this country,
Mm.
and
Wow.
that's 4 years in itself.
It's a
Absolutely.
lot. That's why when they
That's,
come out, they have all total gray hair because that's a lot.
and
That
I
is a
hope he
And
make
lot.
it 4 years.
well,
Yeah.
because Joe's already gray and stuff. So I
Like he
don't,
gonna be in his 80s at the end of his term.
Yeah. But first thing he need to do is kick Betsy out of there.
The best is over the education.
School, yes, she's got to
Oh, why
go.
was she even in there?
Right, she has got to go. So
I think she was
they,
homeschooled.
he's got to come up with another word. He can't say drain the swamp like they did. He's got to come up with something else. He's got to drain something. He's got to come up with his little cliche, but they've got to go. So he's got to
Yeah,
redo all of that, and that's a lot of work. And so people can't expect him to go in and make miracles overnight. It's a lot of work, but he's got to have the cabinet to work with him. It's not a one man show, and so people think the president go in there and they didn't do this and they didn't do that and they didn't do this. It's a lot, and they need people to work with them.
yeah, and I think he needs to
Senator,
be right.
I know BTD Mob really.
Change the sheets. Change change the sheets. But I feel he needs, and because all that he's going into, he needs to be very transparent on what
he's
he's doing and
he's
what his
got to be.
process is, because
He's got
people
to
are
be.
gonna welcome back.
thank you.
he's, he's got to be. Yeah,
He has to be
he's
very
got to be.
transparent on what he's doing and what the steps are and what roadblocks he's running into. Because a lot of people, like I said, even myself, I will throw into that group until, especially this year, and really understanding the whole big picture of things. A lot of people think, oh, he ran on this, he said he gonna do this, he going into the office, and on day one, our student debt should be gone. Like
Mm,
it's a process. So I think
it
he
is.
really needs to be very transparent on what he's doing, the steps he's doing to achieve these goals, and even let us know the roadblocks that he's running into.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yep.
because if not, we gonna have Trump again in 4 years.
And see, that's the
Now,
thing with
Rhonda,
the. Huh? Go ahead. I'm
can
sorry.
he run again in 4 years?
Yes. I
Because
think he could.
you can
He
only
was
have two terms.
two terms.
Wow.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy.
But he gonna be in his 80s.
And
He got so much hatred that'll keep him going.
well, he should be in the pen for longer than 4 years. And then they need to put him
Exactly.
in an insane asylum. Is needed after that.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. I hope he does well. Like I said, he'll be in his 80s. There has to be an age cutoff. Um, he may
Yeah.
end up with a Republican Senate. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
mean, he's going in with
Right.
a struggle, but
Right.
he's been there for 8 years before. So hopefully he got some skills and some pulls and stuff that he'll be able to make something happen.
Yeah.
And
That's
then
what we're
and then
gonna
he
hope.
and then he got a sister on his side. But I
Yeah.
was thinking, so clearly we know Trump is not. I mean, Biden is not going to be a two-term president, and of course, once it's time to reelect, the Republicans will have to nominate someone to represent their party. Do you feel with everything that Trump has done and the base that he's created, what their now expectations of the Republican Party is, would they need to nominate someone who matches Trump's energy, or would they be able to would they be able to nominate someone that's just like our typical Republican, our typical politician? Or would they need somebody that's, like I said, that's going to match Trump's energy, the same way he was cussing people and grabbing vaginas and all
Oh,
and tweeting
Jesus.
in caps and all that? Would they need someone to back that the next election coming around?
I don't know if they need it, but I think they're definitely gonna have some folks that are gonna try to do that because it worked. Now we can't
Yeah,
say that it didn't. It worked.
it
And I
works.
think they're definitely gonna have those little you know, folks that come up and try to do have that same um funk and try to rally them together again. Definitely. Definitely. He set the
Well,
bar very low.
one of our
And
senators, Tom Cotton, he's a senator and he's worthless to us. You can tell he's bitten at he's trying to become. You can tell that's his intention is to run for president.
And he has some of
So,
Trump's same tactics.
well, I can't. Let me. How can I put this politically correct? Mm, I can't talk about scrotum.
No twisted scrotums tonight.
I can't. No,
what?
he's not grabbing the vagina.
Yet.
No, he won't grab the vagina. But yeah, he's you can tell that's what he's trying to. PTD mom, stop
I know
it,
that's right.
stop. Yeah. But you can tell that's what he's aiming for. His goal is to run for president.
Mm.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
that's scary.
yeah. Because
Because
right
now,
now
I
he is
mean,
all up under Trump, though. He's right up under him.
yeah, that's scary. Because I mean, now
Hmm.
you have people like trying to create this persona that Trump was.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
And like I said, Trump has given a voice to that is okay to be racist. It's okay to treat people wrong.
Hmm.
It's okay to say whatever you want to say.
Wow.
And you got people that's going to support you. And that's scary.
Yeah.
Because
Pow pow.
it goes down like that.
All
We
right.
don't support. We don't condone that though. Not at all.
We're
I'm
gonna
shocked tonight. I'm shocked tonight. Nobody's loaded up their rifles because we got some rifle toting people in the group.
y'all better
Everybody,
leave
but
SK alone. She's now
they've
leave her
all put their
alone.
stuff down
Right.
for a minute. We'll see though.
We got some
Right.
rifle toting people in the group.
Right. Hey, but I was excited when Kamala came out last night on Mary J. Blige.
Yes,
Now that's what I'm talking about.
it was
We
good
we, we,
stuff.
we got a sister.
Mary
Mhm.
J. Blige. So I was proud of that.
How do you think that dynamic's gonna work for her and her husband though? Because now he's second husband.
Yeah. He can just sit quietly in his room until she gets finished.
Oh, I mean now he's announced as second husband. I mean he can't work. I don't think so. I mean
What?
unless he's doing like some. I mean he can't like work at like IBM. I mean I'm sure he has to do something like political, like school lunches or something.
No, but his wife is an educator.
So like for the vice president, like their spouse can still work. I mean, because like Melania couldn't like go clock in anywhere.
What's she gonna clock into? The titty bar?
I was gonna say the
She's
whorehouse.
she
I
now
was
that's a
trying
now
to think
that's a
of
sweet
a.
woman.
It's a
That
what?
not that she's a sweet woman. Just because her husband's a little screwed up, and clearly you can see she's over it, but she's a sweet
So,
woman.
something is wrong with her.
Something is
It has
wrong
to
with
be.
her. I mean, when you think back to when they got together, I mean, she was on the come up. I mean, Trump was the person to be. Now she's like, okay, I'm over it. But I was thinking yesterday, like, what is that dynamic gonna be like for Kamala and her husband? Because I mean, we've never experienced this before, where there's
Yeah,
a
that's
where the man is like he's second husband.
yeah, but like we was talking about, Jill is an educator, and she worked the whole time that Biden was vice president. So
Oh, she
why
did?
wouldn't?
Oh, see, that
Yeah,
I didn't know.
right. So why would he not have continue his job? Yeah.
Well, like I said, I didn't know that aspect, but I was just thinking, like, mentally, I'm sure that's going to, I mean, it might be a little
And,
struggle in the beginning.
oh, cause a man thing, right?
I was gonna say, what exactly are you
What you
saying,
saying?
Tyrone?
Yeah, is it a man thing? Well, we
Let's think. So if it was one of your spouses and they had to like step behind you because now you're VP and their second husband, you don't think that would be like a conversation with
there,
not leave it alone.
there.
Oh God.
I'm just asking.
No, why would you think that, Tyrone?
You don't think that? I mean, you don't think that would like a conversation would have to? It would be a different dynamic until they get into the groove of things. Because now
I
he has to step back.
Why step back? Why can make him be equal side to side? You
I
my
mean, because
man.
now
I
now
want you. Nah, you still my man. We still side
right
to side.
right
You're not
at at
behind me.
at home,
Eh,
I'm still your man. But on the forefront, you're vice president. So
okay.
just like every first lady, they kind of take a step back. They do the gift wrapping and they feed the kids in the school and they go and read to the
Oh no, you
kids
did
and this
not
that,
say
and
gift wrapping.
for like the holidays when they do like the tours of the White House and they present like the Christmas trees.
Child,
Supervisor.
wait a minute. Child,
Now, now,
Oh, that was great.
child.
He said gift
Oh,
wrapping.
right.
and they present like the Christmas tree, like they do that whole like tour thing, like the first ladies.
You have diminished being a spouse to the vice
No,
president.
no, I'm not saying them as like he has to step back to her, but I'm saying now she's on a different platform. He's gonna have the title of second husband, which is a new dynamic for all of us, and I'm sure it's a new dynamic for them. So I'm sure that's gonna be some getting used to this new position she's in. Not saying that he's like she's over him, but she is the vice president. Is
Okay.
a new. I'm sure it's a new dynamic for them. Would it
I,
not
I
be?
don't. I'm not sure what that means for
You
them as a couple. What does that mean for them?
It's. I'm sure it's going to take some getting used to
who?
for both of them, and their dynamic.
I think Kamala has worked very hard, and he knew who
Correct.
he married, and so she
Pow pow pow.
not pal but cup pal.
Kapow, kapow.
Where are the brothers at?
Child, I'm trying not to pull you
And
out,
James and
Tyrone.
James JJ, I'm still doing good. Well,
You on your last leg, Tyrone.
right. I'm just. Do y'all not? Okay, say you and your spouse. There's a dynamic shift in your roles. She's now vice president, so the demands of her are going to be different. There's going to be a lot of differences. I'm sure that's going to take time to get used to.
That's
And
whether
he's
it's whether it's a man that's vice president or whether it's a woman. Nothing changes. Each spouse has to
Right.
get used to the position. in new
That's what I'm
positions.
saying. That's what I'm saying. There's gonna, I'm sure there's gonna be a dynamic shift in their relationship that's gonna take some time to get used to.
But I'm saying that doesn't have anything to do with the gender. Regardless of
Right.
it, it's still going to be a change in a position, not
Correct.
gender, not gender.
Well,
I mean, if
I'm saying because when I say gender, only because it's gonna be different. None of us have seen a first husband, a second husband. I'm sure there's gonna be. I'm sure the blogs and politics and everything gonna jump into that. Like he's the second husband. It's new. It's a new dynamic for all of us. So I'm sure there's gonna be some adjusting that has to happen. There's gonna be probably some tough moments at times. Because at the end of the day, when we see the president, the wife normally stands behind him. That's just policy. Now, I mean, he wouldn't be able to stand in front of her because she's the vice president.
Okay. Do you think this is something new to them because she's been powerful? She's been in these positions and all this before, where everybody knew about Kamala, and nobody really knew about her husband. So, what difference is it now? Just because she's now vice president?
I think status wise, it's going to take some getting used to. Now he know who he married. She's big, and I don't know what his profession is, but this is a different level than when she was attorney or when she was a senator. I mean, she's vice president. That's a huge title. So I'm not saying because of it's gender. When I'm sure when Barack and Michelle were when he became president, there was a shift, and because she was powerful, he worked for her at one point in time. So I'm sure
Okay.
there was a shift that where they had to get used to this new normal for them. And for me, it's just different because I've never seen a first husband. I've never seen a second husband. So it's just different. So that's why I'm saying, regardless of gender, it's different. We've never seen it before. So how is that dynamic going to look? I mean, I'm sure there's going to be, you
Okay.
know,
Next topic.
y'all get caught up on gender
You
because
started with the
you
gender. You
she's
started.
a
you
woman and
mentioned
she's a
it.
woman and hear women roar. All I said was there's gonna be a shit, and the supervisor better not come back on here. Oh, I'm
Now, what you say, sir? What did you say?
I'm
Roar.
I'm putting in an HR complaint.
I
Y'all
Wow.
think
see,
like SK said, Kamala's been powerful. So Doug, I mean, don't start no shit now. You know,
oh now he can't start now.
don't start no shit now, sir.
Doug will snatch her up by the arm as vice president, the same way he snatched her up by the arm when she was senator.
He
And
wouldn't
she
want to
and he
Oh.
not.
gonna say, and we'll talk about this when we get home.
He would want to not.
Oh.
There'll be Secret Service on his ass, and I'll be in there too.
Wow, Tyrone. Wow.
Oh
That was ugly.
God. Yeah. That was, but
y'all just
you
won't
can
stand my
handle the
point.
second gentleman.
No.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. Yeah, second gentleman. Oh, wow.
Again,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure we can handle the second gentleman idea, but as a male, it's probably going to take some getting used to. He went into a relationship probably being the provider, probably being the support system, this, that, and the other. There's going to be a shift, and I'm sure that as a male, my experience, it's probably gonna take some getting used to. Yes, she's been in the limelight for a long time. She's done all these great things, and I'm sure he's secure. But all I'm saying is, I'm sure it's gonna because there's it's gonna take some getting used to, and
That's
especially once
Jesus calling. Jesus is calling you. Just answer the phone,
who
child.
gotta
Just answer the phone.
How you gonna be eating a chip though?
right. You on break,
Wow.
but
These are educated people and progressive people, so I'm
Right,
hoping that
right,
this will
right,
not absolutely not be an issue for them. It shouldn't be.
right.
It should not be.
Yeah.
He should be very proud of her accomplishments
and I'm sure he is.
I'm sure he is.
and
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah,
undergird her.
that sounds like something that a small man syndrome would have
Yes.
those issues. And
There you
I don't
go.
believe
Now they gotta be small male syndrome.
No, I'm not talking about small the way you talking about small.
No, I'm saying
I'm talking about
like
that's
insecure.
insecure,
He's
right? And I don't believe
Mhm.
that's the case here. So okay,
I don't
the
either.
next question.
we gonna revisit this.
I smell the abundance of rain. I smell.
But speaking on powerful women, it was a great election, especially for women. Not so much on the Democratic side, but on the the Republican. A lot of women went into the House. A lot of women went into the Senate, and especially minority women. So it was a really big, a good change of the world where we're starting to see more women, in powerful positions and in powerful spots. I mean, we have our first female and first African American and Asian vice president. Like I said, a lot of women went, especially on the Republican side, went into the House and the Senate. Um, I believe it says 131 women went into like Congress or something. So I mean, big changes are happening. We're seeing more women, and then a lot of women, especially with Stacey Abrams and all the other women that have done amazing things, have really helped to push this country in the right direction. How does that feel to be a part of this? Take off my bra. I'm a woman. Hear me war. Like, yeah, we doing this thing. How does that feel?
I'm not taking my bra off, but it feels good.
Right. It's like we
I
can
don't want to
war
hurt
without
Now
anybody.
taking it off.
y'all can talk about twisted scrotums, but I say take your bra off, and now y'all confused.
No, 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 no.
No,
I'm
I
not.
got to keep that on.
Well, the truth is, women have always been powerful and
Yes,
have always basically run everything. And I know you're gonna be like, there you go, but okay, yes, here I go. Who runs the church?
Jesus.
Women.
Shut up, Tyrone. Women always have been at the forefront. Women
They have.
push through. So that's why I said earlier, it's our season because now Kamala was able to break that glass ceiling. And oh my God, what's to come is just gonna be awesome.
You're right. I mean, she set an example. I mean, that you can do anything you set your mind to,
Mhm.
and you can make it happen. And this is 2020. It's the year of the woman. Now what y'all gonna do with it though?
Like we've been doing. Who rules the world? Women.
Girl.
Jesus.
Women. Just like Beyonce
Mhm.
said, do I need to play Beyonce song? Do I need to pull it
Yes,
up?
play it.
Cause I
Who
will
wins it?
play it.
Who wins
Oh,
it?
But I
Yeah.
will agree. Women, our mothers, our grandmothers, just women in general have done amazing things. They don't get the credit they deserve, and it's really good to see um, women getting the recognition that they deserve, regardless of what side of the fence they're on and what they believe. Just the fact that we're really starting to see that balance of you know male and female, and everything isn't such so male driven. So I mean, I thought that was a good thing to point out because I mean, women have really pushed us to the the finish line with this thing. Like I said, we've had women, and even with Kamala, I mean, I personally don't feel Biden would have gotten the vote the way he got it if he didn't have African American, especially a woman, um, on his ticket. And I'm sure he was very aware of that when he was looking for um, a vice president candidate because I don't recall any men that he was vetting. All I know is maybe like 3 or 4 women that he was looking into. So I'm sure that was a part of the team, part of the plan. But I mean, it was
Hmm.
a good plan that he put together, and I feel he picked a great woman that will balance him and help him really make some decisions to really support the people that got him to where he is today. Because without us, he
right.
would be back at home.
Yeah, and I'm
That's true.
I'm proud of Kamala, but his decision, I was really wanting him to choose Stacy.
I don't think she
Mhm.
wanted it though.
I
Oh,
can't
really?
remember. I can't
I
remember.
thought she
But
made a comment about not
I,
wanting to be second or something.
I don't know. I can't remember. But that she was my choice. I like Kamala, and I think she's going to do a great job. But I was really wanting Stacey because Stacey, well, there's nothing like a hungry woman.
There's
and
nothing like a
and
hungry woman.
she's hungry and she's willing to get out there and work for it and push and so I like Stacy. So again, I'm a Stacy person. She
Hmm.
needs a position. I'm rooting
Yeah,
for Stacy. She needs something.
yeah, she really does. I mean, because we can see just from what she's done in Georgia, like she is when she has a mission and a goal, she's gonna get out there and she's gonna make it happen. And we've
Hmm.
seen the fruits of her labor as she got out there. And you may have you did her wrong, but she's gonna make a
Right.
difference with somebody else, and we clearly see um,
Hmm.
that she did that. But yeah, just wanted to give a shout out to the women out there making a difference,
I
birthing
love
babies.
Kamala. I love Stacy, but he could have picked Minnie Mouse, and I would have been like, "Come on, Minnie, anything to get the food that's in there out because I can't take any more of that." It could have been Minnie Mouse, Smurfette, whoever, and it would have been all good as long as 45 is gone because I can't pull it.
So
I'm
so
exhausted. I think the whole world is exhausted. Seriously.
oh, beyond exhausted. But I did want to ask. So like now we're talking about Biden and Harris. They're elect to go into the office. There's still supposed to be lawsuits. Have we ever had a election where the election was overturned after like a recount?
I don't think so.
I'm not aware of it offhand. No.
That's something I want to research to see if there's ever, because like I said, the only one. Okay, so we got no. Okay. Because like I said, the only election I've known to go to like now I know they almost all of them probably have a recount in some state, but the only ones I've known to go like to the legal like the court route was Bush and Gore.
Yeah, for the state of Florida,
Yeah,
where Jeb Bush was the governor
and
at that
yeah,
time. So.
little corrupt, little corrupt.
Mhm.
So, but before we close out, one thing I was having a discussion with some friends earlier, and we actually talked about this maybe last week, a week before last, where someone asked us in the chat about um, should we have more than one party or one party, how that whole thing works. And I think for the majority said we need more than one party. So we had this whole thing where Kanye ran on the ticket in certain states, and I think they said he got maybe um 50,000 votes or something like that. Um, do you think we should have more than two parties? Because we have like the Democrat, Republican, Independent, and then I mean it can go on and go on and go on. Me personally, I feel when you get to a point of like an independent and this, that, and the other, of course we want everyone's views and opinions to be heard, but we also to a certain extent know that some of these other parties won't be on like the main ballot. Like Kanye was on the ballot in certain states. There was no way he was going to win the election that way. And I feel when you like vote independent in this, that, and the other, you somewhat still believe in one of the two major parties. You have a connection, whether it's Democrat or Republican. You may not agree with everything, so that's why you decide to go independent and this, that, and the other. But do you feel those like Kanye's votes were wasted votes
Mhm.
that could have gone to someone that is truly on the ballot, full nation, full country, and those votes could have gone to like cutting this down a little quicker?
Mhm.
Because that's 50,000 votes that even in the last election with Hillary, it could
Mhm.
have pushed her over the top. But we had people in small states, I mean, different states on these ballots. Do you think when it comes to the true election, we should be able to have like one-offs in certain states that could in turn impact the people um actually who have a chance of going into the office? Or if we're gonna have multiple parties, should they be on all ballots across the board? So if everybody has a true, fair chance of getting into office, so then it's not like a wasted ballot.
I'm not sure if what the state's rules are as far as getting on the ballots. Because Kanye was on our ballot here in Arkansas,
So
where a
yeah, he
lot of
wasn't here in
states
Texas.
see. So, but I think they had to have so many signatures, and I'm not sure what else they had to have to qualify to be on the ballot. So that's one thing is everybody needs to have the same rules,
Yes.
and then that we won't have any confusion there. So, but everybody should have the opportunity to vote for whom they want to vote for.
Hmm.
I agree
So,
with that, but I think we have a personal responsibility to make your vote count. And the people who voted for Kanye, you save
girl,
your time, your gas. What are you doing?
that was
You
that was
know,
that was crazy.
make your vote count.
Yeah, that
Hmm.
was
And
crazy. Yeah.
and shame on him for even carrying
Right.
on like that.
Well, and I was embarrassed that they allowed him to be on Arkansas, the ballot of
Hmm.
Arkansas. That embarrassed me for my state.
And then his very own wife tweeted, yay
Congratulations, right?
for Joe and Kamala. I'm like,
So I mean, we know
oh,
who she voted for,
right. I'm
but
like, y'all get Kanye's meds. Seriously, I'm not even trying to talk bad about the man, but make sure he's taking his stuff every day because this is
Yeah,
not
and the list of people that signed for his ballot the copy that I received, I didn't know anybody on that list.
mm,
So I'm not even sure it was legit. I don't know, but it's crazy. That was crazy.
and again, like you said, it becomes a waste. Like who comes out of their house, waits their gas, stand in line to
mhm,
vote, and then you vote for Kanye West when you know he's not going
right,
to be on the
right.
ballot.
But you,
Absolutely.
but you can't stop people from voting for who they want.
Correct,
Yes.
and everybody should have the option to vote for who they want. But so then my thing was, so then should everyone running for president be on the national ballot?
If
Because it doesn't serve a purpose for only Arkansas got Kanye, but
right.
me in Texas I didn't get him. So is a disservice to him because he's missing one of the biggest states out here.
But again, they have rules and regulations, and so he had to get so many signatures and something else in Arkansas. But then, like in Texas, he probably didn't get the amount of signatures needed to be on the ballot. So then his campaign failed. They dropped the ball.
Yeah, and like I said, to me, no vote is a wasted vote. Everybody should vote, but again, like John said, you want your vote to count
Towards something,
to
and you
towards something.
know that this person is. mm, Don't do that.
So
Was a
yeah.
spoiler for Trump. I would agree with that.
Oh,
Mhm.
totally, totally. Him and quite a few of them that we no longer want to deal with anymore, and we tell them they can go on about themselves. But before we go, I do
Right.
encourage everybody to go to check out the site we talked about a couple of weeks ago, the ourBlackParty.org. I actually researched it myself and looked into it. I think it's a great organization. If you're able to sign up for it and donate to the cause, um, I think that would be amazing. It's really an organization that's working towards making sure that our voices are heard, making sure that our needs and our wants are heard, and that we have a seat at the table. They do have one of their bylaws, or one of their goals. I put it that one of their goals is the 1,000 goal, and that's where we make sure that we elect at least 1,000 African Americans into political office and different areas of government. Um, so again, a good organization to look into, especially for minorities and people of minorities, to really make sure that as we got Biden into office as of right now. I'm sure he's going in. We still have work to do. We have to work hard. We have to make sure our voices are heard. We have to make sure that we're showing up and we're going to our local town hall meetings and we're a part of the conversation and we're sitting at the table to make sure that our wants and needs are being met, because the black vote is not a free vote and you have to work for it. And we've given it to him and he has to work for it. So I do encourage everybody, if you have a little time, go to ourblackparty.org. look over the website, read about it. There's videos and stuff. Sign up, get into the plan, all that, because it is time. The African American vote got them in there, and it's time for us to take over and do what we do. So before we go, I want to give it over to my friends. Any last words you'd like to say before we close this thing out?
I'm just gonna say woohoo. That's it. I'm glad. Well, now I'm glad tonight. We'll see what happens in the morning. Just be calm.
Morning's gonna be crazy.
We can make it. We come this far. We can make it the rest of the way.
Wow. Right. I'm gonna be quick and to the point. Like Tyrone said, get involved. Now it's not the time to quit. It's not
Yeah.
over. Get involved. Get involved with your local elections. You got to get involved with all of that. That's the ground roots. That's where they start. And then, a lot of times we don't hear about them until now they're senators and in the Congress and blah, blah, blah. But they started at the bottom level. Get involved. We need you to get involved. And it's exciting. I'm telling you, there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to do. The last thing is, I don't know if you all saw Roland Martin. But for one time, I agree with Roland Martin because I'm proud. I'm so proud of our African American people that showed up to vote. And he played that song by John P. Key and said, this is what we did. We showed up. We showed up and we voted. And that's what we've got to continue to do. If we want to make change, we always say you got to be the change you want to see, but also you got to get out there and you've got to make the change and you vote. And we're expecting the Biden to get in there and work. And if he doesn't, guess what? We've got to vote. Let's get somebody in there. Let's start getting mentoring people. Let's start getting people in there that's for the cause that we're wanting to see. And it's going to be a good day. And guess what, Tyrone? We win.
Amen. With untwisted scrotum.
Oh, see? Show up, SK. Show up.
Show up and show out. But again, thank you all for joining us tonight on Yes You with Friends. Again, our fearless leader was not here, so as her friends, we held down the fort. We hope you enjoyed the conversation. Continue to keep the dialogue going. Thank you to everybody who joined us in the chat today. I can't see everybody, so I'm not gonna start naming people, but we see you. So thank you for coming out, and we'll see you again. And just like if we were on Soul Train before my time, I think it was love, peace, and soul.
A peace for your journey.
Ow.